Welcome, and thanks for joining today's webinar, Understanding Banking, Credit, and Money Management for Newcomers. My name is Riley Cohen. I'm the CEO of CanadaVisa, and our mission is to empower newcomers throughout their journey to Canada by providing access to trustworthy, reliable, and digestible information, advice, and services. We operate CanadaVisa, CIC News, the CanadaVisa Forum, and CanadaVisa Plus. So we're going to start this webinar with a presentation by our guest from TD. After the presentation, we'll have a question and answer period, giving you the opportunity to have your questions answered by our guest. We had many questions submitted prior to the webinar and have planned to answer as many as possible. We encourage you to continue to ask questions in the chat throughout the presentation, and our team of moderators will add them to the question queue. I'm now happy to introduce our guest speaker, Gurpreet Panesar. Gurpreet is a senior product analyst within the New to Canada product group at TD, supporting the ISGIC program. She officially joined this role in September 2024, bringing over a decade of experience at TD. Since joining TD in 2014, Gurpreet has held a variety of leadership and sales roles across retail, wealth, and operations. Most recently, she led a national team of officers supporting branch operations, focusing on account quality reviews, RESP accounts, and exception handling for registered products. Outside of work, Gurpreet is a proud mother of two and passionate about wellness. She enjoys creating digital content that empowers newcomers and supports immigrant communities as they navigate and thrive in new environments, a passion that continues to shape her perspective and work at TD. So thank you to Gurpreet for taking the time to join us and share your insights today. And quick housekeeping notes. Remember that the chat is public, so please don't share any personal information like your phone number or email in the chat. Those messages will be removed. And of course, anytime you have a question, please pop it in the chat and we'll make sure to add it to the Q&A period at the end of this presentation. Also quickly, the presentation slides and a recording of this webinar will be shared with you in an email following. So if there's any section of this webinar you want to go back to and listen to again in more detail, you'll have the opportunity to do that. Great. So with that being said, I'll hand it off to Gurpreet to start today's presentation.
Thank you so much, Riley. Okay. Awesome. So hello, everybody from all over the world. Here's Gurpreet. My name is Gurpreet Panesar, and I am part of TD's New to Canada team. Today's session is designed specifically for newcomers who want to better understand how banking and credit works in Canada, and how really to build a strong financial foundation from day one. When I arrived in Canada, there was a lot to learn. Things that seemed simple, like opening a bank account, understanding credit scores, or using a credit card, worked very differently than what I was used to. That's why I enjoy these sessions so much, because my goal today is to share some practical tips that can help you make your transition easier and help you avoid some of the common mistakes many newcomers make. Riley has already shared a slide about me, but just a brief overview. I work as a senior product analyst. I do support TD's New to Canada team, and my role focuses on finding ways to improve banking experiences for newcomers and international students. More importantly, I can relate to many of the experiences you guys are going through. Starting over in a new country is exciting, but it can also feel very overwhelming. Financial knowledge is one of the most important tools you can have, because it affects where you live, your ability to borrow, and your overall financial well-being. So today, we'll focus on practical information that you can start using immediately in your daily life or when you're planning to come to Canada. Today's agenda, first, we will discuss the different types of accounts that are available in Canada. Then we'll have a look at the difference between debit cards and credit cards, since many newcomers are unfamiliar with how credit card works in Canada. We'll also spend some time understanding credit scores. and how to build a strong credit score or credit history. We will also discuss budgeting and some money management tips. Finally, I'll also share some information about TD's New to Canada banking package and resources available to help newcomers get started. Okay, I will start with the basics. There is two types of accounts that are offered to you when you first come to Canada. In Canada, most people have these two primary types of bank accounts. A checking account is used for everyday banking. This is where your pay is deposited. This is where you pay your bills from and where you make your daily purchases. A savings account is designed to help you save money and earn interest over time. One common mistake many of us make is keeping all their money in checking, and a saving account is it's not paid attention to. A savings account can help separate your spending money from your saving goals. So think of your checking account as your day-to-day wallet and your saving account as your future goal account. And then we have a credit card. A credit card is something that allows you to pay for purchases, and it is borrowed money from a bank, and then you make the payment back to your credit card each billing cycle. So every credit card has a credit limit, and we have to make sure we are responsible when we're using a credit card. But I'll dive into more details in our next slide. So now, one of the most important concepts to understand is the difference between a debit and a credit card. A debit card uses your own money directly from your bank account. So in the previous slide, I mentioned about checkings account. So your debit card is connected with your checking account, which the money that you currently have in your account. And a credit card uses a borrowed money from the credit card company, which you repay later. So here, the credit card will be your TD credit card, and then you repay it each billing cycle. So many newcomers, when they come and they share their thoughts, they prefer debit because it feels safer. They know that this is the money that they currently have in their account. It is understandable. However, in Canada, using a credit card responsibly is also important because it helps you build your credit history. The key word is responsibly. Only spend what you can afford to repay. My personal recommendation is to treat your credit card like a debit card. If you don't have the money in your bank account, don't put it on your credit card because it can ruin your it can ruin your credit score. So using responsibly also means that you understand you have a credit card that you're going to use for your a big purchase, and in your next pay cycle, you're going to be able to cover that cost, but you need it in the time period, so your credit card is used. Okay, and now in my next slide, I will go a little bit deep into the credit scores and why does it matter and why is it important. A credit score is one of the most important thing you'll have in Canada. It's more like maintaining your reputation. Banks, landlords, any lenders, they often use your credit card when they're making a decision to lend you something, or if you have to buy a new car, your credit score plays a big role. A strong credit score can make it easy to rent an apartment, qualify for any loans, receive a better interest rate, and access additional financial products. So many newcomers, when they arrive without a Canadian credit history, and which is completely normal, and they start from having a first credit card, and then they go on building their credit on that. The good news is you can start building one right away by using the credit card responsibly. So most of the newcomers, they jump into this credit score world by using their first initial credit card provided to them by their financial institution. I hope I'm going slow and covering everything, and then we can dive into the questions at the end of the session. Okay, the next slide will talk about how really we are building this credit history. So many times when I'm helping newcomers, they ask me like, how do they build their credit score? The answer is very simple. It is having a structure and having a schedule for each thing. Pay your bills on time, pay your credit card balance regularly, avoid applying for multiple credit products all at once. Start building your credit history as early as possible. One of the best habits is paying your credit card balance in full every month. And I do like to remind people that your credit score is not built overnight. It is built through consistent good habits and good track of financial habits. Think of it as building trust. Every time you make a payment on time, you're showing your lenders that you're a reliable borrower. So that's why paying your bills on time, paying your credit card on time is very, very important and plays a key role in building your credit history as a newcomer in Canada. I have heard many stories. People, they want to go and they would like to get a new car, a brand new car. And then the moment they go to the auto lenders, and then the first thing that is talked about is their credit history. But because they're so new, they haven't had that credit history built up in Canada. So this is why, like when you first come in, having a checking account, saving account, and a credit card, and building that trust gets you started with creating that credit history in Canada. Now, next, we will also discuss and do a deep dive into budgeting and money management. When you're in Canada and you're new, your expenses can add up quickly. Rent, groceries, transportation, phone bills, and other everyday costs can sometimes be higher than expected. One simple budgeting strategy is pay yourself first approach. Whenever your income comes in, set aside a portion of your savings before you spend on other things. Even a small amount each month, consistency matters more than amount itself. So make sure you're putting some money aside for your savings. And then we also have a tool called TD My Spend app that actually helps you track your spending and identifies the areas where you might be spending more than you realize or more than usual, in your other usual months. So budgeting isn't really about restricting yourself. It's about making sure your money is working towards your goal. So for example, having a goal set that, okay, my rent is this much every month, and then this is how much I can spend on groceries each month, and this is how much I need to spend on my credit card because my phone bill goes for my credit card, and this is how much I need to put aside. So these are some of the things that you can start when you're budgeting in your first couple of months when you're new to Canada. And then we do have a TD My Spend app that actually helps you. It is a tool that really helps you track what your spending is like. And it does give you also a breakdown of what your savings wish list is. It helps you make a plan for your money. Like, for example, my pay cycle is assumption like, $1,000 monthly or like $1,000 biweekly. Out of the $1,000, it'll help me put aside what my savings goal is and what my spend goal is. So these are some of the very good tools that we have here that you can use. Okay, now we can also look at the TD New to Canada banking package. These are some of the resources available for newcomers. TD does offer a New to Canada banking package that can help newcomers establish their banking relationship in Canada. The package does include a checking account, a saving account, and eligible credit card options depending on your needs. For newcomers who are just arriving in Canada, this is a simple way to get started and start building their banking and credit history. If you think you are interested, there's going to be links provided through this webinar. You can go and have a review of our banking package, but it's the full package that gives you an overall financial need experience that you need when you first land in Canada. And with that, I think I have covered pretty much everything, and I am happy to take any questions you may have. And I really hope that today's discussion helped making banking, credit, and money management in Canada a little easier to understand. And if there's one thing that I want you to remember is that start building good financial habits early. Open the right accounts, use credit card responsibly, pay bills on time, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Small habits today can create major opportunities in future. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the presentation or any doubts that you have about Canadian banking.
Thank you so much, Gurpreet, for that presentation. So a quick housekeeping notes before we go into the question and answer period. One is, as you're chatting, remember that the chat is public and do not share any personal information in the chat. And the second is that this webinar is being recorded for those of you that are asking. And so, again, you'll be able to go through the slides in more detail afterwards and listen to portions of the webinar in more detail afterwards. Great. So we'll start with a question from Bessie that came in, which is, can I open a Canadian bank account for my home country before I move to Canada?
Unfortunately, the opening bank account is not available, but we do have an ISGIC program. If you're coming to Canada as an international student, then you can. So that program allows you to open a student checking account and park your funds in a GIC. So it is not what just a banking account is.
Cool. Thanks for that. Birhanu asked, what bank account should I open when I first arrive to Canada, and what documents do I need to open it?
So as I mentioned in the slide, the basic and the must-have accounts are checkings and a savings account. And then some financial institutions like us, we give you a credit card, when you first open your checking savings account. And in terms of ID verification, we require your photo ID. So if you're new to Canada, your ID would be passport, your social insurance number, and your valid visa if you're coming as a student, work permit holder. But yeah, these should be enough. And in some cases, it is very important if you already have a property where you're living, like a residential address, because to get your mail. So that is also important.
Great, thanks. Someone asked, as a new immigrant to Canada, do I need to have a bank account?
Yes, because you cannot be spending day to day on cash, because some of the services are easier through card. And it's also a safest option to have your funds in a bank account rather than just in cash in hand.
Doreen asked, can I access banking services while I'm in Canada as a visitor?
Very good question. Depending on what type of visitor visa they have. So I would say they need to have a valid visa. So for example, I think current date visitors are not eligible for bank accounts, but in a PGW, I think the parents and grandparents program. So because the visa is longer, so there's an eligibility option.
Thanks. Adena asked, is it possible to open a checking account on its own without other products?
Yes, absolutely. But the other products provide you with the bundle, and they give you more savings and also have some cash offers when you open a full bundle. So just having a checking account sometimes may not be enough, because you also need to have your savings started and start with your credit history as well. But yes, if you just want the checking account just to park your funds, yes, there's no hard stop on that.
Cool. What should newcomers compare when choosing where to bank? And it's a question from Daniel.
So I think the answer actually, it's from your own experience, right? Like when I first came, the first thing that I wanted to make sure is a bank account that is known for their good service, like customer service. Like I'm able to relate some of my experiences, and somebody's there to answer the questions. But when you first come in, you also need a bank who who is reachable. Like, you shouldn't be driving too far to go to a bank. So in that terms, like TD has over 1,000 branches in Canada. And you also need a bank account, as I said, like that has accessibility needs. And then also have your language preferences. So we currently have in TD, our staff speaks over 80 plus languages. So those were some of the key things that I wanted to look into. But other people, like from other people's perspective, it's the fees, the rates. It's also one of the things that people consider, like, do they have higher banking fees or lower banking fees? So depending on what you're looking for from a bank, a financial institution yourself, these are some of the key things that were important to me. So I can talk from my perspective.
Cool. Carla asked about, can I open a TD checking account in the US that's transferable to Canada?
I'm going to have to take that question. If she can open a bank account in US that she can access in Canada. So I think this is something they will have to do it in TD Bank in US. And we do have cross-border banking services that do allow the transfer. But if she can use the same one, the answer is no. So she can use a cross-border banking transfer to have the funds here.
Yeah, and Carla, just to add on top of that, I am a TD cross-border banking customer, and I love the product.
Yes. Okay. Yay. Thanks, Carla. That's awesome feedback.
Cool. Salamine asked, what are the easiest ways for newcomers to Canada to build a good credit score?
As I mentioned in the slide, pay your bill on time. Make sure, you're using your credit card very responsibly. You're not maxing it out. Like, for example, I have had students who come to me and ask me, they have tuition to be paid, and their credit limit is only $1,000, and they're maximizing it, and they're not able to pay it off. So don't do that. When I say responsibly, that means if you think your credit limit is $1,000 and you're using $800, and you should be able to pay that $800 within the billing cycle. There are one-offs that doesn't affect your credit, but as long as you're able to make the payment is a good way to start building your credit. And never make any late payments, right? So even with the credit card, it gives you an opportunity to have a minimum amount that you need to pay each month. So yeah, make sure you're not late.
Fulla asks, I've applied for a credit card in Canada. Will I be able to use it when I travel outside the country?
Yes.
Great. Sanisha asked, what is the process for opening a savings account, and does savings account help you build a credit score?
Savings account does not relate with building the credit score. Savings account helps you having that trust. You can say, right? Like if you have a savings of, let's say, $10,000, and then when you're applying for a credit card, people are more willing, as a bank, they're more willing to give it to you for a credit limit of $5,000 because they know you already have backed up amount that you can use to pay off your credit if needed. So they do go relate, but savings is a different product than credit card. But yeah, savings will help you get that access to credit easily if you have more savings.
Great. Jamal asked if there's any promotions you guys have for newcomers.
Yes, we do. And in the link that will be shared with you, you can access our banking package as well.
Great. Andrea asked, which bank do you suggest for business owners in Canada?
Well, I can only talk for TD, so I would recommend TD. We do have some really good offers for small business owners, and we also have digital-only bank account that you can start as a new business owner, because sometimes we need a minimal fees account, and that account helps you, get started, and then you can make upgrades to your existing business account once you're fully established as a business owner.
Great. Samir asked a lot of good questions, but I'll pick one that they asked here, which is, what type of credit card would you recommend for a newcomer, and what should we look out for before choosing one?
Very good question, as you said. So what type of credit card? So sometimes we currently have cashback credit card offers. So because when we are new to a country, we cannot straight away jump into the credit cards that offer other benefits, but that does not stop you with your right income requirements. If you've met, you can also jump into having credit cards that can give you some travel points. But I would say start with a very basic cashback credit card that gives you rewards and cashback every time you use a credit card. So we currently do have some of those credit cards available for newcomers. So yeah, as I said, once Riley shares the information, you can dive into the package and look for the credit cards. But yeah, any credit card basically is good to start building your credit. But if you are looking for some other perks like travel perks and some airplane points, that happens if your income qualifies for you to apply for those credit cards.
Great. Shri asked, are credit scores calculated based on multiple bank accounts and credit cards of different banks? Or is it like from one specific credit card and bank accounts?
No, it is from all. The credit score is something it's a trust that you build with all the financial institutions. So if, let's say, you have a credit card in TD that you're paying on time, but you have a credit card in a different institution that you're making late payments to, your credit score will be affected. So you need to have a proper credit risk. You need to be able to use a credit card responsibly for all the institutions that you have access to.
Great. Fikayomi asked, what is the average credit limit available to newcomers? It's probably a difficult question to ask. So maybe how is your credit limit calculated as a newcomer?
I think we have thresholds for newcomers, so they can have a very good start of the credit limit. Up to $3,000. So they can, when they come to the financial institution, we can determine it at that point. But yes, they can access a good credit limit even when they're newcomers. We have those flexibility for the newcomers.
Miriam asked, when I enter Canada as a PR, how long do I have to wait to open a bank account? To my understanding, I won't get my SIN immediately.
Can you ask me that question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So from when you land as a PR, how long do you have to wait before you can open a bank account?
So when you land here as a PR, the SIN number is provided to you at the immigration services. So you don't have to wait actually. The document that is provided to you as a landed permanent resident can be used as your identification when you come to open a bank account. So yeah, those are some things that are sufficient for you to open a bank account. You do not have to wait. You can open a bank account right then. Let's say you landed yesterday and then today you can go to a TD branch and then you can open a bank account.
Great. Tomi asked, do I need an address before I can open a bank account?
Yes, because we need an address in the system.
Simar asked, what are the most common financial mistakes newcomers should avoid during their first year in Canada?
I think the one that I see it happening a lot is using their credit card to a max, and then also not opening a savings account, because what they do is they open a checkings account and then when they have to purchase something, they don't have a savings bucket to access from. So that is really hard. So I would say open a savings account, have a schedule for yourself. We're already in a new country. We are here for a better future. So why not start with making the right financial choices? So yeah.
Great, thanks. Dismas asked, if I pay more than what I owe on my credit card, what happens?
If they owe more than what their credit is?
Let's say they owe $1,000 at the end of the month. What happens if they pay $2,000 towards their credit card?
Oh, okay. If they make a bigger payment than what they owe?
Yeah.
That really doesn't it doesn't make your credit history good, but it is a good way if you think you want to overpay. But I would not recommend it. Just pay whatever you owe. So the rest of the amount will just sit on your credit card and would be accessible just like accessible cash on your credit card.
Great. Puani asked, how can I effectively manage multiple bank accounts in Canada? Does TD have solutions for that? For example, separating personal, business, and savings accounts.
Absolutely. So our current app is designed in such a way they can be interconnected. So she will be able to access her business banking account, savings, even any sort of trading accounts in just one platform. So TD does provide solutions in that regards, and they're all interconnected. They allow the money movement in between the accounts as well.
Great. Monique asked about having an address, and she's saying that when she lands and I'm staying, for example, at short-term housing, like an Airbnb, before finding a permanent address, can I alter my address on my bank account after I move into a permanent one?
Absolutely, yes.
Great.
And that access is provided once you open the account with us. They can just make those changes themselves as well, just in case if any letter needs to be mailed to the right address. So yeah.
Great. Tashika asked how negative Canadian savings and checking account balances affect credit history.
Negative. What does she mean by negative?
An overdraft.
They do affect the credit history because you are trying to access what you don't have. So does it give you a big hit on your credit history as compared to not paying your credit card? I would say there are very two different things to compare. But yes, it does affect your credit history if you have negative balance in your checking account because you're overdrawn.
Great.
But if you have overdraft protection, let me just, because we do have a product that is overdraft protection, that is an additional amount that sits on your checkings account as a credit available to you, then you're protected as long as your money, in your checking account can cover it once you deposit it.
Great. Samir asked, how long does it take to get a credit score? And when I rent in Canada, does my credit score affect that?
Your credit score affects your renting in Canada, yes. How long does it take? It can vary. I would say 3 months is a period for you to start off with making the credit history, because it shows a pattern of you making the bill payments, making your monthly credit card payments. But yeah, in terms of affecting your renting, yes. So for example, let's say you're looking for an apartment to rent and you do not have a good credit history, within the 2 months, there's already NSF charges on your account and you've not made payments to your credit card, the renter will be hesitant to giving that property on rent because they will be scared that you're not going to be paying their rent. So yeah, it's very important.
Great. And another question came in, is my credit score visible between banks? For example, if I apply for a credit card at another bank or a loan from another bank, is my credit score visible to them?
Yes, they're all managed by one company which manages the credit for all individuals. So yes. So for example, as I mentioned before, you have a credit card in TD that you're paying properly, but you have a credit card in a different institution that you're not. Let's say you need to purchase a house and you come to TD to apply for a mortgage. And then when we're doing the mortgage application, we will be able to see that how, that you were not effectively paying the other financial institution's credit card, and that has affected your credit score. So that's where we will be able to know that you're not doing a good job in maintaining credit. But does that mean we have access to it all the time? No.
Great. Monique asked, regarding the surplus payment on the credit card, how does it impact my credit score if I put money onto my credit card to spend rather than owing at the end of the month?
That's really not a good way to do it. I would say keep that money in your checkings account and just spend your credit card money and then make a payment, because it's not really using the purpose of having a credit card.
Great. And maybe I'll end on this question because we've gone through everything so far today. But actually, you know what? A good question just came in that I'll ask before the closing one. Can I use my U.S. credit history, and like, does that transfer to Canadian credit score?
No, they are not related.
Great.
Yeah, just similar to how you do your taxes, right? You cannot do your U.S. taxes in Canada and Canadian there. Like, yeah, they are interrelated, but your income and everything depends in each country. So similarly, your credit score.
Awesome. And as a closing question that came in, it was around for a newcomer coming to Canada through express entry, or maybe through even other programs like study permits and work permits. Which bank would you recommend, considering the newcomer benefits, ease of opening accounts, credit card access, etc.?
As I said, like, I can only speak for TD, and I would recommend you TD. As I explained before, like, TD has accessibility resources, and we are literally the bank that is there in each corner. We also speak the language of your preference. Currently, our staff speaks over 80 languages. So if you ever need to feel like home and you need to feel comfortable, you can come to a TD branch, and I'm sure, like, you know, a representative will be able to accommodate you. Aside from this, we do have a banking package that does offer a lot of perks. Currently, I think somebody asked me about the credit card question as well. Even in our new to Canada banking package, we do have two types of credit cards, which is the cashback and the Aeroplan Visa Platinum. That is also offered in our new to Canada banking package. And then with our day-to-day banking package, you do get a $500 cash offer. So depending on just the perks and the availability you have from geographical wide reach, TD is there with you anywhere you go. And we also have a good bundle for not only your checking and saving, but you get other perks as well, like making it easier for you to use money movement. For example, you need to send money back home. You get perks on that. You need to be able to make the credit card payments. You need to have a credit card that start giving you those rewards and benefits. We already have our cashback and our Aeroplan Visa for newcomers as well. So I think the package that we offer does cover most of the things that a newcomer needs when they first land in Canada. And yeah, does fulfill your wish list as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So everyone, this concludes our webinar today. Really appreciate all the engaging questions that came in. Was impressed by that. And a big thank you to Gurpreet and TD for taking the time out of their day to sit with us and answer the questions that we have. We're really appreciative for your time in this partnership. A few housekeeping notes for everyone in chat. We'll be sending out a recording of the webinar as well as the slides in an email afterwards, so look out for that. And of course, we'll be doing more of these in the future. So keep an eye on your email inbox for an invitation to our next webinar to learn more about the Canadian banking system. Gurpreet, any closing statements or thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I just want to say thank you once again. And I really want you guys to make it to Canada if you're planning on coming so. And then choose TD as your bank. And we will be happy to have you guys over in TD as customers. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
Great. Thanks so much. And wish everyone a great rest of the day. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye.